Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about how my planning philosophy has changed over the years. I don't know if I like the word philosophy, and I might end up titling this video something different by the time I get to that step in the process. But for now, at filming, that is what I am calling it because that is what somebody asked me. On a weekly live one time, somebody asked me, how has your planning philosophy changed? And I simultaneously thought that was an awesome, intriguing question, but I also immediately froze and did not know how to answer it. And I think I said something, I think I came up with something. I did not go back and listen to it, to be honest, but I also knew that that could be a good video on its own, that it could be a standalone video. I could actually think about my answer and give more detail and more color than a quick response on a live. I say that like all my answers to the live questions are quick. They're not always quick. But to be totally honest with you, now that I'm sitting down to work on this outline and work on this video, I still struggled. I really still struggled with what has changed in terms of how I plan my life over the years. And not necessarily in terms of like the functional or structure of it. You can see that. You can see from the very first Plan With Me that I uploaded over 5 years ago, 5.5 by the time this video goes up, to the way that I plan my life now. You can see how my planning structure and function has changed. But in terms of how I think about things related to planning, it was harder. It was way harder to come up with things than I thought it was going to be, especially because I also recently did a video about the 10 goal setting things that I learned in my 20s, or goal setting things I wish I knew in my 20s. And it felt like there was a lot of overlap there. That a lot of what I have learned about goals also really kind of applies to my planning philosophy, because there's a lot of overlap there. They're just planning my life and reaching my goals and planning my goals. There's a lot of things that operate the same, and my mindset shifts have been similar. So some of these things might feel a little similar to that video, but I really tried to put on my planning hat, especially as it relates to like planning supplies and planner products and kind of stationery products. I tried to kind of keep that hat on a little bit as well, because it has been a roller coaster of 10 years. If we rewind, it was 2013, so 10 years ago, that I bought my first Erin Condren life planner. I was fresh out of college, and I realized the planner I was using in college, which was a Lilly Pulitzer horizontal planner that I used in college, it was not working for me once I was out of college and working full-time and being an adult. And so I was kind of browsing for another option, stumbled upon Erin Condren, got this giant planner in the mail, did not know how to utilize all the space. Then it was too big for the stuff I was doing at that point in my life. And so I joined a Facebook group to help me figure out how to better use this planner. That Facebook group turned into multiple sticker orders over and over again, which turned into an Instagram. And here we are, 10 years later. So obviously my actual planning style has changed a lot over the years, but again, I'm trying to keep this video focused more on mindsets. So I've got 7 ready to go. Some of them I feel better about than others. I am hoping, assuming, as with most things that I film, more is gonna come out once I start talking. I have always said, I am a talker, not a writer, and so typically things don't always come out of my fingers very easily when I'm working on stuff like this. And that's why I only start with an outline and have talking points, and then I start talking, and then things come out that I was like, hey, that was good. I didn't think about that until I started talking about it. So hoping that's what happens in this video. Let's start with number 1, which is something that I have talked about a lot on lives and answered in questions when people ask about picking planners, that I think is very important, that once I realized this made a big difference for me. I need my planner to fit my life, not the other way around. I tried a lot of years, starting with that very first Erin Condren and continuing into all the planners I've used over the years, is picking a planner based on what I liked about that planner, whether it was aesthetic, whether it was the company, whether it was the paper, whatever it was, and trying to fit it into my life, rather than deciding my life looks like this and I need a product that does this, this, and this. Now let me go find that product. And that has partially become easier over the years as there's more options and there are more products available, but it's also become easier because I've been more confident in the fact that having a product that fits my life is so much more important to me than having the it product or the right product. I have known for a very long time that I could never use a bound product. I like a coil, I like being able to wrap it around, and I don't like the look of discs. So that one I feel like I kind of stuck to it, and I never kind of strayed away from that, but so many other products, planners, sizes, layouts, I mean, just you name it. I felt like I tried things and I tried to squeeze them into my life rather than knowing what I needed in terms of planning and buying the product that supported that. That ultimately led to me creating my own products because it's so important that I have a planner that works for me. And I finally was like, I want a planner that, you know, does this, 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 and looks like this, that I created my own layouts. Now, I don't sell them in terms of a coil planner anymore. I sell them in notepad form because that also works for me. Now that I'm not using a lot of stickers and decorative and photos and memories, I don't feel the need to keep them. So a notepad just works for me. But it really just took me a long time to get over the fact that it's more important that I define what I need and pick the product that supports that. There's a video I also always point people to when they ask that question, like, how do I pick a planner? How do I figure out what planner is best for me? That Cindy did. If you've never heard me talk about Cindy, I love her channel, highly recommend. I always like to give the caveat, she does swear, which doesn't bother me. I don't typically swear on my channel, but I do in real life, spoiler. But I try to keep it family friendly here, but she does swear on her channel. So if that's something that bothers you, then ignore my next recommendation. Or decide that the information in this video is more important than that and just watch it with your headphones in. So she has a video where she goes through all the different aspects of planners: paper quality, size, coil, layout, color, blah, 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 all the things. And then encourages you to list out what you want in terms of a planner and then go find the planner that fits that, as opposed to, oh, there's the new hot planner, I need that regardless of whether those qualities fit for your life. So if you're wanting some more like concrete on that kind of a topic and picking a planner, I always point people to that video. And number two is kind of related to that, and that is that it's okay to change my mind. In fact, I will change my mind. Like my life is gonna change, and therefore my planner is going to change, and that is okay. I do not have to stick to one planner or one layout forever and ever. I would feel so guilty when I would change my mind. Now, I don't necessarily mean changing in the middle of the year. And I understand that as somebody who was reviewing planners regularly on YouTube, who has a business that I can invest in various products or get products sent to me for review, that changing in the middle of the year was a little bit more accessible for me. I even mean changing it year over year and switching companies to use a different product that worked better for me. It was okay. Again, referencing number one, I needed my planner to fit in my life, not the other way around, which meant I was going to change my mind. And it was okay to do so. Related to that though, was to stop buying stuff so far in advance in case I did change my mind. Having stickers and products used way far out in the future, like the someday, but then it only fit in a specific planner. It was a kit for a specific planner, and then I changed my mind. And then I had all these stickers that I didn't know what to do with. I even have stickers for like baby stuff. I clearly didn't anticipate that by the time I had kids, I was going to not really be using stickers in my planner. So the kind of sub bullet point to number two is for me, it was that one of the things that's changed is to not buy all the things way far out in the future. Focus on what your life is like right now. Buy things that are fit within your life right now. And that way, when you change your mind, it's okay and you can more easily pivot. All right, number three, I feel like so far these are all kind of similar, but like could stand on their own. And that is, you don't need to try every product, Laken. And took me a long time to be okay with that. Now, part of that was being here on YouTube and sharing things on YouTube. And I wanted to review every product to be able to give you all of the options. A couple of years ago, was that last year? Actually, maybe I reviewed like 10 different goal planners on my YouTube channel. Now, I knew I wasn't necessarily going to try all of them, and most of them I ended up giving away, but there have been times that I wanted to try every product, and not even just planners, but every sticker company, every washi tape, every highlighter, every type of pen. I wanted to try. Oh my gosh, I just saw a recent thumbnail of mine that was old where I had like 20 black pens that I was trying in a specific planner. You don't need to try it all. You don't need to try everything. Now, once again, some of that I did for YouTube. So that is That's different. I was doing it to hopefully provide information and feedback that you could use to make a decision. But some of it, if we're totally honest, I did because I wanted to. And I did because other people were doing it. And other people were trying this new planner, so I needed to try this new planner. Other people were trying this new pen, so I needed to try this new pen. I don't feel that need anymore. I don't feel the need to try everything. You know, I realized I kind of wrote these like I did the lessons video, which was like talking to 10 years ago Laken. This is more like, no, these have changed and I'm okay with the changes. These are not bad. Like I am, not that that video was bad things, but you know what I mean? Like I don't need to be so harsh. Like instead of saying like, you don't need to try everything to myself, the statement is what's changed. I don't feel the need to try everything. And that's probably a positive change. I hope most of these are a positive change. All right, let's move into number 4, which as I read, at first glance, it's gonna sound like the same thing I've been talking about in this whole video, but I'm gonna explain what's different about it. I don't feel the need to own every product, every planner product anymore. I used to feel like I needed to own, review, and even if it just sat on my shelf and didn't get used, I needed to own every color marker option. I needed to own every Erin Condren planner cover. I needed to own every coil option just in case. I needed every style of notebook. I needed every color scheme that Chrissy Designs offered in terms of stickers. I needed one of everything because I just needed to own it all. And even if I had no plans to use it, I felt like I needed to own it all. And so some of that has changed because I've moved a couple of times and I've gotten to the point where it's like, the number of boxes of planner supplies that I moved and then didn't use was getting a little bit out of hand. And then some of it was impacted by the mindset shifts I already talked about. Some of it was impacted financially. When I worked my corporate job and I had my 6-figure corporate job and the income that my business was making, it was a lot easier for me to justify buying one of everything, and even if I wasn't going to use it. As I was saving to quit my corporate job, and then once I quit, I don't really know when any of these transitions actually happened, right? I'm not trying to pinpoint any of that. Most of them were probably gradual over time, but definitely being a lot more thoughtful with my business expenses made it so I was like, you don't need to buy every single thing. You don't need to own every single color of washi tape that exists in the world. And then it also stemmed from the fact that I stopped using a lot of those supplies. And so I didn't want to take up space in my life, in my budget, to buy stuff that I really was never going to use. All right, number 5, we're kind of shifting gears now to be a little bit different. And that is that time is precious. And the amount of time that I spent decorating planners, picking out stickers, organizing stickers, oh my gosh, the hours I would spend organizing stickers. And when I was using them regularly and it was a creative outlet for me, it made sense and it was worth it. But when I think about how much time I still spent on it once I was doing it not for myself anymore, I've said this in videos before, I most definitely had weekly plan with me's with stickers well past my own expiration date. Like if I wasn't on YouTube, I would have quit planning with stickers way earlier. But I kept doing it because people like the weekly plan with me's, they got views, my mindset was different, so I kept doing them. And so when I think about the time that I spent decorating, again, buying stickers, organizing stickers, etc., after I reached that point, I'm like, man, time is valuable, and that is how I was spending it. And so I think one of my planning, again, mindsets, philosophies, whatever you want to call it, that's changed, is just being way more thoughtful of my time. How do I want to be spending my time? And is this activity that I'm doing and spending a lot of time on, all of the things associated with it, is that worth spending my time? And again, not trying to pinpoint, but I do think this mindset in general did stem a lot from the pandemic and the shutdown and realizing how valuable and precious time is. Next up is that everyone's life is different. And so we need to stop comparing, especially when it comes to planning. There are so many people whose planning styles, let me take that back. I do feel like I try to always do a good job of staying true to myself. Don't get me wrong. But I was also very tempted, and sometimes succeeded at being tempted, to try other planning styles because it worked for somebody else. Or just flat out comparing my planner and my planning style to other people. And ultimately that was not beneficial for anybody. That, especially me, especially my mental health, right? Everyone's life is different. And so everyone's planner and planning style and planning needs is going to be different. And comparing myself to other people was not helpful in any way, shape, or form. And again, this is one of those mindsets that I definitely talked about in the goal setting 20s video. That is true for a lot of areas of life. It's not just planning and planners, but I think the planning world can get so caught up in comparing handwriting, comparing neatness, comparing sticker collections, comparing who knows what. And it just, like, I had to get away from that and do, like, that is a mindset shift that has changed, because going back to number one, the most important thing is that my planner worked for me and my life. And once I accepted that, I think it definitely dominoed to some of these other ones. All right, last one, number 7, is probably the most practical one, although I guess not buying stuff is pretty practical too. Anyways, that is that white space is vital, both literally on my planner, having white space, and then also figuratively in my life. And I think that the more important realization was that I needed it figuratively. And I think I talked about that actually in the 20s video too, but it stemmed, one of the big struggles with getting there, like getting to that mindset, was the fact that I felt like I needed to fill up every inch of space in my planner all the time with a sticker, with a to-do item, with something, I'm tracking something. When I think back to like all of the things I tracked, when I think back to my habit trackers that had like 20 habits on them, like that was probably doing more harm than good in the grand scheme of my life and actually being able to make progress on my goals and like live my life. But at the end of the day, I need to have white space on my planner. And I think realizing that in real life and then translating it has been one of the biggest shifts for me. You watch my Plan With Me's now, and there is no, you watch them now, or the recent ones when I was pregnant, there's lots of white space because pregnant me was very exhausted all the time. But even before that, even my Plan With Me's before pregnancy, I leave a lot of white space. I leave a lot of space to decide that day how I want to fill it. Do I want to fill it with extra work hours? Do I want to fill it with friends and family? Do I want to fill it with sitting on the couch doing nothing? It varies all of the time. You know, during pregnancy, what I needed was rest. And actually after moving, what I needed was space for my family to make impromptu plans now that I live close to my family, and that will always be changing, right? White space will always be important in my life. And how I spend it is gonna change as my life changes, but it's still something that is so important that I think the way that I used to plan hindered that a lot, is kind of what I'm getting at. So I don't know if this video was helpful at all or if it was interesting to you. I still don't know if I feel like it really encapsulates how much I feel like I've changed when I think about the Plan With Me videos that I filmed at the very beginning, 5.5 years ago on my channel, to how I plan my life now. And I'm not saying I would change any of that. That was my life at the time, and that was how I planned and how I functioned. While I do think that a lot of this video is positive and I've made a lot of positive changes, it doesn't mean that things aren't gonna change and I'm not gonna realize something else in another 5 years. But I will always be a planner girl at heart. I will always want to need to plan my life in order to do anything, to get anything done. And it just will continue to change and evolve as I continue to change and evolve. Now, if you are also a planner person like me, especially love planning for a new year, it's gonna be here before we know it. And I am so excited to be hosting a workshop series in December where we are gonna plan out our goals for 2024. Part of that is going to include planning out our time, because we have to know how much time we have to work on our goals. That is a little bit more found in like the nitty-gritty of like the weeks and months of the year, but we're still gonna consider it when we're planning out 2024 as a whole. And so I am doing a 3-part workshop. I've done it in years past, but I pulled it out of the community. That way it's just easier that anybody can sign up for it and purchase access to the workshops without worrying about also being a member of the community, and if they want to cancel after 1 month, etc. Which tier, that's not an issue anymore, I guess, because there's only 1 tier now. There were tiers to the community, and that was a question I always got, was what tier do I have to be in order to get the workshops, right? So now it is its own thing that anybody can participate in. And if you're watching this video, the week that it goes live, we're gonna have a sale. to kick it off this weekend. So keep an eye out, make sure that you are signed up for my email list. I'll leave that link down below. If you're watching it after, what is the date? Whatever that Friday is, November, whatever the Friday is, it's Friday here, that it will be available. But if it's before that, make sure you're signed up for my email so you can get all the information and the details on the sale when it goes live. If you're a community member, you're gonna get an additional discount, so make sure that you keep an eye out for that and use your specific code so that you get your additional discount as well. I can't breathe anymore. This, besides the vlogs that I have to wrap up, is the last video I'm filming before my trip. Nope, that's not true, Laken. Oh, I still have to do my September goals. Just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Do a what? And then encourage you, I'm messing up a lot in this video. Let me start this section over again.